Mr. Deputy Speaker, our family services centres report an average of 1,400 cases a year where family violence is one of the presenting problems. In the past 3 years, on average, the family justice courts received 2,800 applications for personal protection orders, with about 40% or about 1,200 PPOs issued each year. In the last 1 year, 1 in 3 callers who called the ComCare hotline on family violence matters were non-family members, third parties. On average, the ComCare hotline receives about 60 calls annually on family violence-related matters. Of course, members of the public, family members may call other numbers, may report to the police, may approach family violence specialist centres, may approach FSCs, and bring family violence concerns to the attention of authorities through different channels. So I just gave the member an example of those who call in through the ComCare hotline. And one common cause of family violence stems from controlling behaviors of one family member over other family members, resulting in intimidation or even violence. Some families also face difficulties in coping with stressors, such as marital, financial, health challenges. Family violence is not a private matter. MSF's Break the Silence campaign aims to raise awareness of family violence, to equip bystanders with resources and skills, to safely step in to help victims, or to report and bring the matter to the attention of the authorities. The National Family Violence Networking System links various agencies and community groups together to provide multiple access points for victims to obtain help. Victims of violence have access to hotline services and social service agencies specializing in family violence work. These agencies provide facilities for the application of personal protection orders or PPOs through video conferencing, medical services, legal advice, and counseling services. The Penal Code, the Women's Charter, and the Protection from Harassment Act, POHA, provide protection for victims from violence, including family violence. The proposed Vulnerable Adults Bill will be an additional lever to allow statutory intervention in high-risk cases involving maltreatment and abuse of vulnerable adults. Public consultation on the draft bill was held in the second half of 2016, and MSF is finalizing the provisions with relevant stakeholders and working through the details and SOPs before introducing the bill in Parliament this year.
Engineer Dr. Lee.
Thank you, sir. I have 2 supplementary questions. For ComCare hotlines and other helplines that is available, I would like to ask, how does MSF assess risk? Is there any statistic to show how many people have been saved by such calls? And I understood that in US there is this data analysis program to better screen the calls and identify the risk even earlier before they are being harmed or cause death in the worst case. So do we employ such data analytic technology? Thank you.
I thank the member for the question. As I said earlier, ComCare hotline is but one of the touch points through which victims of family violence, the family members, neighbors, colleagues, friends, members of the public, bystanders, can reach out to in order to flag possible family violence cases, because in our view, family violence ought never to be treated as a private matter. And it is the importance of creating a network and continuing to refresh and revitalize and to re-energize the network that's important. So no hotline operates alone, no agency operates alone when it comes to family violence, because if it's not for a network, there's always a risk of a family violence case falling through the gaps. And so the National Family Violence Networking System, of which the ComCare hotline is one of the participatory entry points, brings a tight network of support and assistance that brings multiple points of contact that provides multiple points of contact for those affected by family violence. It links MSF and its partners to ensure sources of help are accessible to victims. And the key stakeholders are the Singapore Police Force, so some people call the police or go to the MPPs or MPCs or call 999. Our hospitals, who see cases of individuals, and sometimes it could be that they suspect family violence causing the injuries. Our family violence specialist centers who specialize in tackling the complex familial relationships and issues that surround victims and their oppressors, and family service centers, as well as community-based welfare organizations. So whether a person calls the ComCare hotline or calls 999 or goes to report to the police or is suspected by a clinician or doctor or nurse who's doing triaging as being a potential victim of family violence, the network will kick in. And dialogue groups are held regularly amongst all the participants of this network to ensure that they are better placed to detect and to know what to do when they identify cases of family violence. So as for the member-specific question as to whether when people call the ComCare hotline or other hotlines, whether that provides a protective element to the victim, we don't have specific data at this point. But I would say that every time a report comes to the attention of the authorities and the network is able to do its part, we'd like to believe that it is an important first step that brings the matter out to the attention of specialists, to counselors, to the authorities, to the police, and that would be an important first step to addressing family violence behind closed doors.